back to my YouTube channel. This is so fun to do, actually. I'm like thoroughly enjoying it, but that's besides the point. I hope I've got my light on because it's super dark. I hope it's not distracting because I've got my lenses have got a blue light filter, so I hope it's not distracting. But today we're going to talk about how I came to choosing my stack. I hope this is informative to especially my final year students who are looking into going into the industry, the job industry, and so on and so forth. I hope this is very informative and interesting because you really need to start thinking about this in order to make yourself marketable within industry. So let's get straight into it. Okay, so a stack. What is a stack? I know various people have seen and heard of people calling themselves full stack developers and whatever. So essentially what a full stack developer is a software developer who is essentially familiar and knows everything in terms of development, which includes front end, back end, databases, and deployment of their applications and so on and so forth. And that's why they get paid a lot, because they save companies a lot of money because they do everything under the sun. So let me just go into a stack. So basically a stack is what helps to identify you as a developer. So this is specifically for people who want to go into software development and software engineering. For data science and data engineering, you don't really need to familiarize yourself with all of those things. But for my software developers out there and software engineers, it's very important to be able to make yourself marketable within industry. And the only way that you can do that is by specifying and specializing in a specific stack, or in a specific stack. So there's about 6 popular stacks that are being used widely in industry. These were the most popular in 2021. So the first stack is your mean stack. Then you've got your MERN, then you've got your Maven, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, your Maven stack, and then you've got your LAMP, you've got your serverless stack, and then you've got Flutter for web. So there's 6 in total. The first stack, which is your mean, this is the most popular and the most well-known stack within industry. And then your mean stack, essentially what it consists of is MongoDB, which is the most annoying version of Oracle. And then we go into Express.js, and then we go into AngularJS, and then Node.js. Now you can hear me saying JS and JS. JS basically stands for JavaScript, which is a programming language. And based on that, you can already tell what the stack is about. So it's essentially an end-to-end JavaScript stack. So you're coding in the exact same language throughout, which makes it very easier. And that's why people in industry like doing this, because it makes your code reusable. So you don't have to now go and code a whole new program with a whole new different language. And that also saves monies in terms of deployment and maintaining the code as well, because that's very important. So your mean stack just basically deals with that. I just want to make everyone aware over the fact that you've got 2 types of developers, right? You've got your front-end developer and your back-end developer. Your front-end developer deals with the client side of development, and then your back-end developer deals with the server side of development. Now, by client side, I'm talking about what you see when you open Instagram, what you see when you open up Facebook. That's what they do. So front-end developers, what I call it is they put the icing on the cake. And what they do is essentially they make things look pretty. So they do your user interfaces, your UI, and that's why you've got UI and UX designers. So they do all of the coding for that through languages such as HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and so forth. And then you've got your backend developers, which deal with the functionalities of what you see. So for example, you open up Instagram and you click on your profile. By you clicking on your profile, you need to be redirected to your profile page. And the backend developers make those functionalities come to life. So you've got your UI people, which have coded those buttons but then your back-end people, your front-end people, but then your back-end people do all of what happens when you click that button. So they do the back-end coding and functionalities and inner runnings of your application. I hope that makes sense before I go in deeper into this. So as we've mentioned, we've talked about the mean stack, which is the most popular one, and everyone is doing and everyone specializes in as a full stack developer. And then we're going to go into the Marin stack. So your Marin stack is also another form of mean. It's just that your Angular JS in your Marin stack has been replaced with React JS, which is also the same as your mean, but with React, there's a lot of other functionalities that come into place in terms of coding it, in terms of maintaining it, scalability, and all of those things, which just makes it very difficult. And you've got your Maven, MEVN. Your Maven stack is also a form of mean, but your Angular JS has been replaced with Vue JS, which also has its own functionalities that make it difficult. So at the end of the day, mean is the way to go. Mean is the way to go. Everyone has their preferences, but mean is just better for business as well. And then we're going into the LAMP, which also consists of its own functionalities. And then we've got your serverless stack, and your serverless stack consists of all of the cloud infrastructure, so AWS and so on and so forth. And then we've got the Flutter for web, which also consists of the UIs and stuff that are currently used in business. This is more specifically for web development, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, those are essentially the 6 stacks that you essentially would choose as a software developer or engineer. So in terms of choosing it for me as a personal experience, and the advice that I can give to you as someone who is looking into going into computer science, or someone who is in 3rd year or final year, who's just trying to make themselves more marketable, you just need to think of what it is you enjoy doing. So like with me, I'm kind of forced to be good at everything. I don't mean to brag, but I'm kind of forced to be good at everything because I mean, like, I need to pass, and I need to pass really well and to get into graduate programs. But it's very important that you do something that you would essentially just fall in love with, and that you would love as an entirety for the rest of your life. So for me, what I had to thought about, and what I had to think about and put my mind to for the longest of time, was to think, would I be enjoying this in 10 to 15 years? Would I be okay with doing the exact same thing for 10 to 15 years of my life, and going to work and knowing what to expect? So that's what you need to think of. So if you're someone who likes databases, then you can go the data science route. You can just do that. If you're someone who likes front-end development, then you can go the front-end route and just stick to that. That's your stack. And then if you like the back-end stuff like me, then you can just sit in the back-end stuff. I think being able to choose your stack is very important, because you need to sell yourself to companies. Like, that's all that it is. I mean, as you see maybe on LinkedIn, if you've looked at the jobs that come up and all of these things, they are specific in what they want. So sometimes they would want just specifically a web developer, or they would want a front-end developer. So that's why it's very important for you to categorize yourself as a developer as a whole, so that you make yourself more marketable to companies. So it's very, very important. So for me, the first advice I could give is make sure that you're thinking about long-term goals. Will you be okay with doing this for the next 10 to 15 years? And then my second advice would be to do a bit of everything. So in your second year, and I'm talking this from experience because that's what I had experienced. In your second year, you start looking into databases, and you start doing a bit of network engineering and a bit of software, just to see exactly what are you good at and what you enjoy. So that gives you just a broader knowledge into being able to choose your stack and understanding what you love and what you don't love. And that essentially made it easy for me to be able to make a conscious and clear decision into what I want to go into. So my first advice, think about your long-term goals. My second advice, I can't talk today. My second advice is to try a bit of everything first. In your second year, do a bit of this, go into cloud, look at this, so on and so forth, and then be able to make a decision based on that. And then my third one is do what you love. That's the most important one. No one can tell you, no, just go into this because this is what's happening, this is what's cool, and this is what's fun. Just do what you love, and you'll be fine. So I hope this was very, very much informative to everyone going to look into computer science, or all of my final year students who are now thinking of, oh my gosh, I need to get a job, I'm about to graduate. It's important. It's super, super important. I'm saying this based on experience, as I am currently as well you're going to be in the job market, and trends that I've seen in terms of what companies are looking for. Apart from what I mentioned previously in my video, the upskilling aspects and doing the certifications, you need to be sure on how you're going to sell yourself as a programmer. I mean, you can't just apply for a job and like, yes, you're a software developer, but girl, developer in what? What are you what are you specializing in? Do you do front end, back end, or are you full stack? You do front end and back end. So it's very important. I hope this has helped you guys, because this is what I had to do. I mean, I believe in making pros and cons lists. That's what I live by. So if that helps you, just look at everything. Look at databases, look at front end, look at back end. You're going to fall in love with it. I personally do not like front end. It's the worst. I just find it so boring and tedious. Maybe it's because I don't like crafty and arty things. I'm not that kind of person. So if you're very much into graphic design and making things look pretty then front end is the perfect way for you to go. But if you're looking for more of the like challenging analytical and mathematical parts, then your back end is where it is for you. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I hope this was super formative. I just wanted to say this super quick, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you soon in the next video.